The following program is produced by Project Bait and does not reflect the views of this station.
This is Mark Wells, and this is another Wells Report for My People. You know, sometimes the backstory behind a particular piece that I end up doing for this show tells me or actually reiterates why I must do a report on a particular topic. Of all of the previous reports that I've done up to this point, this story has to be the best example yet. I had already decided back in March of this year that I wanted to do a piece on this phenomenon of non-black people putting on ghoulish black makeup and either imitating, mocking, or one could argue denigrating black entertainers or black people in general. If you haven't already figured it out, I'm talking about the practice of wearing blackface. Now, anyone who's watched television over the past half century is familiar with the images of entertainers performing in blackface. And even though it was associated with minstrel and vaudeville shows of the 19th century, we know these outlandish, repugnant images when we see them. Performance in blackface was a popular form of entertainment in the United States for the vast part of the 19th century and continued its popularity into the 20th century. During this period, legendary American performers such as Fred Astaire and Bing Crosby, Mickey Rooney, and perhaps the artist most associated with the phenomenon, Al Jolson, all performed wearing blackface makeup. The blackface look was achieved by using burnt cork, grease paint, or shoe polish to darken the face of the performer. And while the whole look was called blackface, bright red lipstick and afro-textured wigs completed the blackface look and blatantly exaggerated the appearance of persons of African descent. Entertainers who performed in blackface simultaneously popularized African-American cultural expression, while also depicting African Americans in blatantly racist caricatures that portrayed black people as lazy, stupid, dancing buffoons that were happy with their subservient social position to whites and having a predilection for watermelon. Although blackface images persisted until protests during the early years of the Civil Rights Movement made it unacceptable, it is also true that many white performers of the early 20th century didn't know how derogatory and humiliating blackface portrayals were to the black community. Al Jolson, for instance, would not patronize restaurants that refused to serve black entertainers. Even though blackface became passé, politically incorrect, and symbolic of American racism by the mid-20th century, these images were also used in other countries. In the early 1980s, the British sitcom Are You Being Served aired episodes in which characters were made up in blackface. In Latin America in the 1940s, legendary Afro-Brazilian intellectual, activist, actor, and playwright Abdias do Nascimento decided to create the Teatro Experimental Negro, which means Black Experimental Theater, after having seen a performance of the Eugene O'Neill play Emperor Jones in Peru, in which the lead character was portrayed by a white Argentine actor who was painted in blackface. Nascimento formed the Black Experimental Theater to train Afro-Brazilian actors and to bring the authenticity of the black Brazilian experience to the stage in Brazil, where black performers were for the most part excluded. From 1969 to 1970, the Brazilian television network Globo aired an adaptation of Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin, called A Cabana do Pai Tomás. It featured white actor Sergio Cardozo in blackface, wearing a wig and corks in his nose and behind his lips to give his features a more exaggerated appearance. Even though there was protest against the choice of a white actor playing a black man 40 years ago on Brazilian television, the practice persists today. In 1994, Brazilian actress Elizabeth Savala darkened her skin and donned an afro wig to portray a black woman, or what Brazilians would call a mulata, in the television show Quatro por Quatro. This is what Savala really looks like. In October of 2009, Brazil's another white actress, Lady Kachi, as singer Beyonce on the comedy show Zorra Total. This is what Lady Kachi really looks like. What I find utterly ridiculous in the case of Brazil is that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of Brazilian women who approximate the Beyonce look that could have easily played this part. Now, I wouldn't say that any of the girls in this Brazilian sister act look anything like Beyonce, but similar to the countless copycats around the world, the Put a Ring on It video was huge in Brazil too.
Quanto que vocês ensaiaram isso?
6 dias. 7, 8, se errar não tem problema.
Muito bom.
Now, if the producers of the Zoha Total program wanted to impersonate Beyonce, why couldn't they choose someone like actress Ilgi Silva? I mean, she doesn't really look like Beyonce either, but considering the dehumanizing hot mess they've used before, Miss Silva would have been close enough.
Diferente das pessoas como você está falando, cobra e tal.
Now, I'm not the first person to discuss the controversy surrounding performance in blackface. In the year 2000, director Spike Lee used blackface in his film Bamboozled to satirize what he saw as modern-day minstrel shows that were passing as black entertainment in the late 20th century. Lee used blackface to make a point about the disgraceful media representations of black people in the latter years of the 20th century. Now, as I said at the top of this segment, I have been planning to do a piece on blackface since about March. The reason being, over the past decade, and in particular the past few years, it seems that the world has developed a bizarre new fascination with the whole blackface thing. I'll explore this more in part 2 of this Wells report on blackface for my people.
If you have a business in Metro Detroit, you should be in the Detroit Black Pages. For info, call 961-3289. That's 961-3289.
Hello, my name's Gary Rocamore, and I'm the president of the All Home Improvement Repair. It's about that time to get your home repaired. Give us a call at 739-7771. That number again is 313-739-7771.
Hello, I am Heather Johnson, and I am a media intern for Project Bait. I also co-host Business in the Black and work with For My People. I have never had so much fun doing work in my entire life. The people involved with Project Bait are so sincere, and they truly love what they do. David Rambo is an awesome producer. All the people that I work with have been great. I've learned so much, and I'm so excited to be a part of this team. We're going to be holding so many huge events, working with people, and continuing to work with businesses that are black-owned businesses, trying to get their message out to the community. We also want to highlight businesses. We want to highlight people. We want to help the African American community and make sure that they always have a presence in media. Project BAIT stands for Business and Black Awareness in Television. We are so happy here at Project BAIT that you're watching us, and we appreciate you. We are looking for other media interns. If you want to be like me or work with the wonderful David Rambo, feel free to work with us here or contact us at Project BAIT or this station.
The preceding program was produced by Project Bait and does not reflect the views of this station.